I'm sure all of us watching wanted to be the individuals that were fondling Emilia's boobs, but unfortunately, Reid Astria beat us all to the punch. Even Subaru was absolutely fuming. The latest ReZero episode once again shows us why ReZero is quite possibly the best anime of all time. This episode was of course trying to show the portrayal of Subaru versus Julius. Now, of course, as we know, and by the way, the clips in the show are literally referencing this, we see Subaru's character in Arc 1. We see how he's prideful, he's arrogant, and he makes a fool out of himself. And as a result, he gets beaten to the ground like the dog he is. And remember, in episode 13 of season 1, Subaru's proclamation is so bad, it's so cringe, that many people literally stop watching the show. Many people actually drop the show and say Subaru's the worst character ever. And that's literally the whole point of the show, is to show the development of Subaru. We're seeing the culmination, the finality of that in this episode. We're seeing the exact opposite. But instead of Julius being the person that's laying the beat down on Subaru and grinding him to the ground, we literally have Reid Astria dragging Julius in the dirt like an absolute animal. What level of disrespect is this? Like, I feel bad for Julius. Because keep in mind, Julius's title is the finest knight. He's the knight of knights. He's extremely strong, he's very powerful in Lagunica, and he's just absolutely diabolical with the way that Reid Astria was treating him. Now keep in mind, Reid's fight with Julius is really interesting. We know that Julius loves to be a knight, and again, that's one of the reasons why he's sort of arguing with Subaru on the staircase. He's saying, I can, stand up by myself. The whole point is that Julius is on his own. Yes, Subaru is a person that does remember him, but Julius is on his own. No one else remembers him. So the only thing he has is to be a knight. We remember all the way back in season 3 when Subaru has an outburst versus Heinkel, asking Heinkel, why did you come here? Why are you creating a scene? And Julius said, hey Subaru, thank you for doing that because, I couldn't do it. Because Julius has this idea of being the perfect knight. He's someone that has honor, respect. However, in his fight with Reid Astria comes against these ideals, and what does he say? He says they're boring. He calls Julius boring. His sword work is boring. It's too by the book. He's got no originality. So Julius's entire character is just getting dismantled by Reid Astria. And remember, Julius is a history buff. He knows who Reid Astria is. In the episode, he figured it out before anyone else. And yet, one of his heroes just literally called him a loser. I liked the fight scenes between Julius and Reid. It was really nice. It wasn't just like sword fighting and blocking. There was some disrespect with dragging into the ground. Reid Astria was like going on the floor, doing all this random shit. I liked it. I also liked when Anastasia was like fighting as well. I'm not sure why, but she went kind of cross-eyed when she fainted. I really did like that aspect as well. So I thought it was a good fight overall. And then we had the Emilia fight, which was of course where she gets molested by chopsticks. And again, I do like the fight and I think it's great. By the way, if you go back and you look at season 1 and we look at how Emilia fights against Betelgeuse, right? You can see that Emilia's fighting style has actually developed over time. She's actually using weapons of ice a lot more fluidly, and this is actually due to Subaru. Subaru has gotten Emilia to do some sort of image training, and this way Emilia can sort of imagine weapons to use, and so she's pretty much using some Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works abilities in this episode. And even though Reid is seen as this sort of pervert, gross person, I actually don't really think he's 100% a pervert. He is, of course, a man of his word. Like he said, if I move, I lose, right? And he didn't go back on his words. Not only that, when he realized that Emilia didn't react to him touching her boobs, then he actually said, look, you need to get an attendant with this woman because, someone's going to take advantage of her. Like, if Reid Astria was this, you know, mentally bad guy that took advantage of people. He wouldn't say something like that. So I definitely think Reid Astria is one of those tsundere characters where, yes, he's a bit brash, but he's not a bad character, if you know what I mean. We also got the reveal of the 3 strongest characters alongside Reinhard, which was of course Cecilus Segmund. We also had the Mad Prince, and we also had Halibel. Now, of course, for those that read side content or ifruits, we've already met all 3 of them in the side content. We do have images for Cecilus and Halibel, but we do not have any images of the Mad Prince. So hopefully in the future we do get an illustration of that character. Now, one of the things people might be wondering about is Reid Astria. Reid Astria is of course the first Sword Saint, is revealed in that episode. And also, he's the hero. He's the hero that, of course, sealed away Satella. So, of course, many people are wondering, wait a second, if Emilia is Satella and Subaru is Flugel, why is it that Reid Astria doesn't recognize them? And, of course, maybe that's because the version of Reid Astria that we see is simply a younger version. We see in this video that he has only used a sword for like 3 months. So he's actually quite young with the sword. So maybe that's the reason why he doesn't recognize Emilia and Subaru as Satella and Flugel, because in his life, he hasn't actually met them by this point. So maybe in another 10-20 years, when he's a bit older, he would have met those characters. If I was to rate the episode, I would probably give it 9 out of 10. I do think we need to have more extended episodes, because I would have liked the fight to be a bit longer, because this is the second trial and in like 1 episode we've like passed it. So I wish it was more fleshed out and there was like more difficulty to the actual trials, rather than we're just, oh, here's the trial, we pass it, let's move on, here's the next trial, we pass it, move on. So I do wish it was more spread out. I'm also happy because with a lot of animes we've been seeing censorship when it comes to characters, and I'm actually really happy that ReZero so far has not been censored. I know that before season 4 even aired, a lot of people were speculating that the tunnel scene would get censored because it's quite gory, you know. To be fair, it was kind of censored because especially the description was like Anastasia pissing herself and all of that. So of course that wasn't in it, but it was quite gory. So of course a lot of ReZero fans were a bit concerned about the scene where Reid Astria, you know, pokes Emilia in the breast, and a lot of people thought it would have been, you know, cut out, but it was actually wonderfully done. It wasn't like overdone, and there was like some boobs bouncing, but it wasn't like gratuitous fan service like you would get in, you know, dogshit anime like Makinkai or whatever, you know. So I actually really did like that aspect of it, and I'm glad it wasn't cut for those ReZero purists.